Hello, everyone. I'm attorney Justin Lovely, and I am here in Myrtle Beach with my wife and law partner, Miss Amy Lawrence. And this is another episode of the Carolina Justice Report. We're glad to have you back, and hopefully we're giving you some value and teaching you some things on the front end about the law and about life and how you can better protect yourself and your family and all these different various legal issues that we discuss each week. Today is going to be probably a boring episode, but it's a very important episode. It's discussing liens, or the lack thereof, which we're going to teach you, in injury cases. So,
well, first thing is, what is a lien? Explain what a lien is.
Well, in South Carolina, there is no lien. There's no medical lien law. Excuse me, I should say it that way, like other states do. Other states do protect the medical provider and have these liens by statute. However, in South Carolina, let's just think about it. You have to treat, you get hurt, you go to the hospital, you just got into an accident or you just fell at work or something like that. They're giving you all this paperwork, shoving it in your face on a digital little iPad machine. And what are you going to do? Well, you're under duress, right? You're just signing and initialing and going down the list of things. You don't know what's going on. And so what they're trying to do in there is slip an assignment of benefits to get...
Pause. Let's ask questions. So I know what y'all are thinking probably, because the average guy doesn't really know what a lien is. Because in our head, in the average person's head who doesn't do legal work, they're thinking, what is a lien? Because the only lien that I'm aware of is like a mortgage on my house or a note on a car. But a lien, explain what a really, just at the very, very basic, what that lien is.
Well, basically, you need treatment. You got to get treatment. The medical provider expects to be paid, and they want to assert a lien on your settlement proceeds. So, you know, that's a big issue because we don't want liens on your settlement proceeds. We want the client to get all the money. So these are issues that we have to work out. Now, obviously, you have to have treatment. You have to treat. You can't say, oh, I don't want to go to the hospital, or I don't want to go to the doctor, I don't want to go to the physical therapist. Because if you don't treat, an insurance company, a defense attorney, an adjuster, they're simply going to say, well, he obviously wasn't hurt too bad, or he would have went to the doctor and got treatment. Of course, we understand what you're worried about. You're worried about medical bills. You are worried about getting these letters in the mail threatening to sue you.
Or going on your credit.
Or
Nobody
going on
wants
your
to go on
credit.
your credit, right?
Absolutely. So there's various different liens. That's what we're talking about today. And there's various different liens that we have to negotiate as your attorney to put more money in your pocket and to make sure that you're getting something out of your case and it's not just all being paid back at settlement time back to the medical providers.
You know, I'm surprised at how many attorneys don't negotiate liens for their clients. And so for every dollar that we get your liens negotiated down, there's not a nickel that goes into our pocket out of that dollar. You get the full dollar. So we're maximizing the value of your case and put more money in your pocket because you're the one that was injured.
Now, it's good if you have health insurance. You know, your health insurance is going to want to, there's probably rights of subrogation, and they're going to want to be repaid back. But it's good that you have health insurance, and it's even better that your health insurance is paying for your treatment after an injury. And the reason I say that is they're paying 10 or 20 cents on the dollar for these medical bills. Okay, so your medical bills could be $100,000. Well, Blue Cross Blue Shield or whoever your medical insurance company is, they're going to pay maybe 10 or 20,000 on that bill. So that they then will assert what they will call a lien on your recovery from your accident or injury. Okay, what we then do, is that a valid lien? Do we have to take care of it? And then if we do, can we negotiate that down or get it waived? And all those things are just like what Amy mentioned, that will put more money back in your pocket on the back end of the case after we've settled it.
Yeah, one of the processes we do is we go through, when they assert that lien, they give us a list of everything that they paid out. And so we go back and we comb through line by line by line and make sure that that is related to your accident. So if you went to the doctor for a sore throat and that's in there, or you went to the doctor for ringworm, something completely random, psoriasis, and that's in that number, we get that taken out of that number. I mean, so it's a lot of little details that we go through to get that number and that dollar back in your pocket.
Right. Now, and these things take time. And one big issue down here, especially on the coast with our just population, we have a lot of Medicare, Medicaid, Tricare recipients. Those are governmental liens. we have to take care of them. There's no getting out of that. If you don't take care of them, they can come after your tax return, and they'll also deny any future treatment. So,
And our law license.
absolutely, and our law license. So we're going to take care of that for sure. But the good news is, again, they're paying those Medicare, Medicaid rates, okay, and it will be a lien, but it'll be a smaller lien, and there's certain reduction statutes that will allow you to get that reduced, because the government knows you have to pay an attorney to do this for you. They know you have costs, and so we use that to your benefit to get the lien reduced, and then there's even chances that we can get it waived in certain circumstances. That would put more money in your pocket. And again, if you work for the military, that's going to be Tricare. If you're in retirement, that's going to be your Medicare benefits. And then, of course, if you're a Medicaid recipient on the state level. But governmental benefits we have to take care of. Now, a different lien that sometimes we are already working is that there's a workers' comp lien. Now, if there's a workers' comp lien and we're not handling the workers' comp side of your case, the workers' comp has to put a lien, or they will put a lien on your third-party recovery. And this is in the law, the workers' comp statutes, to keep you from double dipping in cases. And essentially, they have a right to be reimbursed for any benefits, medical or temporary total compensation or final compensation benefits that are paid to you through the workers' comp system. If we are handling the workers' comp case, we will handle the workers' comp case first, so this won't even be an issue for you. But, definitely be upfront with us if you have a separate attorney doing the workers' comp side.
And a great example of that is if you're on the job and you get into a car accident and it's not your fault. So a lot of times people are like, what does that mean? And so what it means, it's exactly that. So you get into a car accident, you're working, you're running an errand for your job, or you're a driver, whatever, and you get hit and it's no fault of your own. So you have two claims. You have one against the personal injury claim against the at-fault driver, and then you also have a workers' comp claim. And so all this stuff is like really detailed, tricky, and you have to be really educated, know exactly what you're doing. A lot of personal injury attorneys don't really understand the intricacies that go into working a two-sided claim, and so we prefer to handle all of it, but we will hold your hand and help you with either one if we need to.
Now, one of the first parts in the analysis is figuring out what kind of health insurance do you have. Okay, so is it a governmental policy like Medicare, Medicare supplement? Is it Medicaid? Is it Tricare if you were in the military? Is it the workers' comp? Is it a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan that you bought? Or is it, do you work through your company and you have an Erisa policy? Now, Erisa liens are super liens. We have to these are the worst and the hardest to take care of. And we negotiate these, and this is a fight in and of itself. Even if we settle your case for a great number, we have to take care of this Erisa lien, because they can come after you. They can't come after the attorney, and if that lien is not taken care of, and they will cut off your health insurance benefits. So it's very, very important that, yes, getting you money and getting your case settled is just the first part. It's how much can we save you and actually get into your pocket and get these liens resolved. That's the final part when we get to settlement mode in your case.
That's one of the things we do. We're constantly educating our clients in what to expect. This after we get it settled, that's great, but there's this lien part of it, and it takes time. And as much as we want to strike it, write a check as quickly as we possibly can, it's just not the reality. And we've got to get those liens taken care of, reduced, and all that good stuff, because one, it's required by law, and two, we want to maximize every dollar and get every dollar we can for you.
And it's definitely a process, and we need patience from the client to trust me. We're going to get it done as quick as possible, but it does take time. Now, another aspect of the lien issue, but it's not really a lien. If you don't have health insurance, and people get worried about this, they go, I don't have health insurance, I'm not going to treat. That's the worst thing you can do for your case. You need to treat, and if you don't have health insurance, we've built networks over the last 13 years of practice. We know who will treat you on what's called a letter of protection. Now, that is us creating a lien for you. So basically, the letter of protection is saying, hey, client X is going to treat at your facility. We agree to pay you out of client X's recovery from their settlement. And we have a network of doctors who will do this for you. When settlement time comes, they've gave us that hard bill, and even with further relationships that we've built with them over the years, we get those reduced just like we would a lien. So it's not really a lien, but it's putting more money back in your pocket. Now, many times also, there is no lien. You just have medical bills, okay? And like Amy touched on earlier, you don't want your credit messed up. You want this taken care of, and we do this for all of our clients. And it might just be the case where there's a minimum policy, which is the case in a lot of these files, but you have huge medical bills. So even if we get you the policy limits on a case, the job is not done, not at all. We have to start really beating these medical providers down to get that money in your pocket, not just paying the doctor. And that's something that happened in our client, Thomas Deprezini, in his case. We're glad to have helped him. He's got a great story. Let's take a look at that story and hear what his side of the events were. We literally, with our last $350, rented an office that was, 8 by 8, 8 by 10? What even an office?
Oh, tiny.
Yeah. And I think your dad gave us a desk, an old desk he had from an old rental property. And
with chairs on each side of it.
yeah, and we started the lovely
He
law firm
would meet
from there.
with clients, and I'd go walk around the block, and then I'd meet with clients, and he'd go walk around the block.
And now we're 10 years in, and we're at the London Street address, growing bigger than ever. We have 5 attorneys total and a large support staff, and we're doing good work for the people of Myrtle Beach.
We grew up in a household that you did the right thing. We always try to do the right thing, and we've noticed that God has blessed us tenfold over. That makes me want to cry. He's blessed us tenfold over because we try to do the right thing. People call us, potential clients who become clients, and they say, I just thought, State Farm, Allstate, Geico, I've used them for 20 years. I thought that they would do me better than this, that they would do the right thing. And, we hear that time and time again, and they just don't.
Some insurance companies can be very bad, but with me, I was blessed. They took care of most of it, thank God.
When an insurance company gets involved, they're looking out for their shareholders. They don't really care about the injured person. You've got to level the playing field. They've got a team of investigators, a team of adjusters, a team of lawyers, unlimited resources, right? And to the average person who's unrepresented, what are they going to do? They can't compete with that.
An elderly lady ran through me through an intersection, and it was so bearable that I couldn't even walk.
So Thomas was in a really catastrophic accident.
And it was so bad that he was unable to walk. He couldn't stand up straight. He was bedridden, and he was truly afraid he was never going to walk again.
The pain was so bad, I didn't think I could do anything. And I called Justin, and he told me he'd do anything in his power to help me. It was God sent. Because I just had to focus on my health, getting it better, and get back to work. And that's one thing, it's priceless. Because there's a lot of attorneys out there that don't do that. They're more like a family-oriented type law firm.
Yeah. I've made a mini lasagna to put in a freezer because, those first days when you're coming home with these injuries, it's like, with Thomas, they didn't think he would walk again, and he came home. The last thing that his wife with 3 children is wanting to worry about is dinner. I get that. I'm a mom.
They allowed me to get my life back to where it is today.
We're just glad that we can be there to give them some reassurance and to help them along the way because this is what we do.
Helping Thomas recover and get his life back together and watch him live his life has been awesome. Matter of fact, he just had a baby.
Yeah, and he's back on the golf course. This was a tough case, and just really getting those liens reduced for him so he could get money in his pocket out of this was awesome. And he remains a friend of the firm, and we're glad that, he's able to tell his story and let everybody be educated again on the front end. And that's our mission here with this Carolina Justice Report. Well, guys, I think that's enough about liens. I said it was going to be boring. Maybe it was interesting to you. Maybe you learned something. I hope you did. Find us on TikTok, Instagram. We're on Facebook. Anywhere you consume your podcast, anywhere you consume your social media, we're here. Again, for Amy Lawrence, I'm attorney Justin Lovely, and we'll see you next time on the Carolina Justice Report.